That rocks, man. That rocks. Woo! Yes. It is Sunday, guys. It is Sunday. You know what that means. Another episode of A Drink with Brink, where I talk with other indie creators about their hopes and their dreams and their lives, but also their books and their campaigns. Because, frankly, I'm kind of done with mainstream, with corporate comics. They kind of suck. They're boring. And indie is where the passion is. Whew, yes, I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. My weekend has been busy. Busy. I've been busy writing. I'm writing this scene, the sequence, guys. It's driving me nuts. It's like I have this superhero battle scene with 32 characters. Holy shit! It's a real challenge. It's really fun, but it takes a lot of time. It's like I did 1 week over 2 pages to puzzle it all together to make it work, Holy shit. But we'll get it done. We'll get it done, guys. And we crossed 600 subscribers to this channel. Just now, just today. So thank you all so much for subscribing, guys. Thank you. It's been a while before we reached this point, and I was losing subscribers for some reason the last few days. And but now it went back up, and we're now at 601. Thank you all so much. We must celebrate sometime soon. We can do an extra celebration show with some giveaways or whatever, just something fun, So yes, let's see who's with us in the chat today. I saw some people in the chat. We have AC Pritchett in the chat. Don't forget to smash that like button. Yes, please do that. All you cool people watching, press the like button, and AC Pritchett is waiting in the green room right now. We'll bring him up in a few minutes. Back a Saga of Sunsets, which is the campaign we're talking about today. The link to that is pinned in the chat, guys. You can check it out if you want. Welcome, Gorilla Mar. Gorilla Mar, what's up, guys? Welcome, sir. Guys, sign up to Gorilla Mar's YouTube channel. He has his own channel. He does these reviews of indie comics. Really cool. And we have John A. Douglas in the chat. John A. Douglas. Dropping some love from my fellow orc creator, AC Pritchard. Oh, look at this. Look at this. It's small world, guys. In this indie scene, many people seem to know each other. Hell yeah, it does. Shout out to Critical Blast and Hill Douglas. Critical Blast is great. I'm working with Critical Blast. Also, oh, by the way, I forgot to talk about that guys. Talking about Critical Blast. I shared some photos yesterday or the day before of the Perfect 10 Artist Edition. It is printed. So it's at Critical Blast right now. This hardcover 130-page book. They will be shipped out starting this week. So fulfillment starts this week. And then I will get some books also, and I will fulfill European backers. So yeah, things are in motion, and thank you all for making this happen, guys. Without you, we couldn't make this fantastic book. Thank you. There's a challenge. Yeah. Wait. Mike is here. Welcome, Mike. The like is smashed. I'm caught up, and cheers to another drink. All welcome, Mike, all the way from Canada. How are you doing, sir? Then we have 58 Underground is with us today. Nice to see you, sir. 58 Underground. Hello. How are you doing? And Gorilla Mar, hey, thanks for that shout out, Dave. I appreciate it. And thank you, AC Pritchett, for the sub. Yes, that's how we do it over here in Indie World. I already got a Critical Blast shipping notice from the artist. Really? Oh, he's working fast. He's working fast. First the backers. I told RJ, first the backers, then you can send it over to me. So yeah. Before they've even posted photo. Really? Wow. Things are moving. Excellent. All right, guys, it is time for the guest. It is time for the guest of the hour. It's a brand new guest to the show. Never been on the show before, which is cool. So I can introduce you to new people and new people to you. So let's see if I have everything set up here. I think that I do. Wait. Yes, there we go. There we go, guys. Let's have a very warm welcome for the guest for today, Mr. A.C. Pritchard.
Oh, thank you for that. Nice little applause. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
It takes me back to music.
How are you doing,
a little bit. Oh, I'm doing good. Just had a nice, good morning. Did all the morning chores and everything, hanging out with the family, and now I'm here. So
morning chores, yes.
Yes.
Sunday chores.
Yes, taking care of the dogs and just waking up and getting ready. So.
And writing? Did you say writing?
Well, I try to do a little bit of writing every day if I can.
I thought that I heard writing. That's
That's
like my thing. Hey, writing, interesting.
And I mean, even if I can't do a little writing, I still will, one way or another, some sort of creative thing. Like it could be world building or whatever it is, planning, even outlining, whatever. Just try to
sure. Applause from Gorilla Mar, and Mike says, "Welcome, AC." Yes,
thank you.
AC. Before we talk about anything, I need to ask you the question: what are you drinking?
I am currently drinking coffee with sugar and milk.
All right, coffee. That's good.
Yeah, like I said, it's like afternoon over here. So
sure,
but I will probably move on to energy drinks eventually, and then maybe, who knows, have a beer or two later.
Yeah, but slowly building up to the rough stuff.
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Jens, we're drinking coffee today.
Don't you talk to me before I have my coffee. Oh, I need some more coffee.
Okay.
Yep. It's so true.
Oh, right. Yeah. All right. So where are you from, AC?
Well, I'm from the Midwest, Minnesota specifically, the
Minnesota,
land of 10,000 lakes, so to speak.
Yeah, 10,000 lakes.
Wait, heartland of America.
Put on the ticker. I prepared a ticker. There we go. I didn't forget it today.
Cool.
Excellent. Almost professional, right?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I got to figure out the ticker and the overlays a little better on my end, for sure.
Wow. All right. So you are a comic book creator, writer. Are there other like creative things that you?
Musician. Yeah, that's probably what I mean, I've been writing my whole life, so I would have the most experience writing, but music would probably be the most public career experience. I was a performer, songwriter, the whole nine. I did a majority of the lyrics, like I said, writing my whole life. In high school, I started off as you get inspired by things like video games and movies and tabletop, and you start dabbling, and then you take classes like creative writing and English very seriously at that point. And then, from there I got into a spot at my local newspaper. They actually gave me a little column. They were paying me $5 an article. It was like nothing, but I got to go see movies for free and review them.
Oh, you were a movie critic or reviewer.
Yeah, when I was younger, but that's where it starts. You'll notice on my landing page, it looks kind of like a magazine article or something.
Sure.
I just can't help that. It's just like that's where that comes from. So,
right.
And I take it as a unique thing, not necessarily a negative. I know some people are looking for like a comic, like all the traditional cozy things that they see on most other comic campaign things, but I can't help the writer side and like the early journalist side of me coming out in some of those areas. I don't know.
Sure. So when you were young, one of your first paying jobs was writing reviews about movies. So you went to the
Yeah.
movies, you wrote about it, and it was
Yep.
published.
Yep.
That-
And those newspapers still exist. My mom has them all, but I keep bugging her about it. She says they're all in storage. I think I may have to like contact the owner of the newspaper I worked for and get an archive or something.
Wow, I can imagine when you're young, you get that job. That's the best job ever,
Oh, it was pretty cool. I mean,
right?
yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit!
I had a press pass and everything, so I could just walk
Yeah.
right into the local theater. They knew my name, and I was just like multi-pass, like Fifth Element or something. And oh, right this way, Mr. Pritchard.
Holy shit, man!
I'd buy some popcorn. I'd buy the popcorn, obviously.
Sure. All right.
I don't want to like just milk it for free all day, because like I could. One time I watched like 3 movies in a row.
Oh.
Shout out to Step Up to the Streets and Nim's Island. They were terrible movies. I had to sit through those though.
Right. So basically, you were you were very young when you knew you wanted to do something with writing, or did that grow from your journalism gig?
Well, I think I kind of blame like my mom and my dad for just they thought video games, for example, were the coolest thing ever because they grew up in like the 80s, the quarter arcades and stuff, Miss Pac-Man, all that. So my mom was teaching me glitches in Super Mario when I was like
really that is awesome.
Yeah. So like
why can't you just play video games like normal kids, right?
I know,
instead of writing.
yeah. What a rubber band effect, man, because like now my taste in video games is like quite the opposite. I don't know why, but I've veered into this realm of like management games and strategy and stuff like that, instead of just like, you think with an origin of like Mario, you get into stuff like, and don't get me wrong, I love like Dark Souls, but getting into stuff like Dark Souls or just the very high octane, high action stuff. No. I'll sit down with RimWorld and manage a colony and see how far I can get with that, because you know what? There's so much story in that. Even like Roller Coaster Tycoon, right? There's a story in every park. Even if you like know the game in and out, there's just like a certain like, I don't know, the growth of the park. Like, I don't know, even if you're really good at it, it's like the level might tell you to do one thing, but you're so good at it, you do another thing, creates a completely unique park.
Right.
I mean,
right. So is that really important to you that a game has story, or do you also like enjoy games that are purely abstract? Or
oh, I love abstract games and games that purposely have no story. Like I mentioned Dark Souls. Like on the surface, that has no story. You just are in a game like very arcade, like resurrect over and over again. Get to the end bosses. Literally, the game's divided into bosses. You know what I mean? Just like an arcade game. But beneath the surface, they've done this passive storytelling. So those who want story can have it, and it's there. They just didn't go out of their way to explain all of it.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm okay with very simple ones too, like Tetris. Sure, give me some Tetris. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Right. So you like games, you like writing. How did you get interested in comic books?
So I have pretty terrible eyesight, which is hence the games. I as much as I would have loved to get more into reading, I had a very small number of books under my belt for a long time in my life, until I got money for audiobooks, right? And then I could really dive into it. But from there, it was just up until then, it was just like video games and movies, because of my eyesight. It just made it very difficult to actually read, especially a substantial amount, like a thick one. Like you get a big thick book, it makes it a little difficult to get through that, because just I'm reading slower. So gravitating towards this visual kind of format, like comics are kind of right there with movies and video games and all that other stuff. So they've always been on my radar, but never had really money for it. the video games are one thing because I can play those at like a friend's house with my friends. I can borrow it from them. I can like get a gift for Christmas or something from a family member because they understand like a console system is replayable like forever and ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like a comic book you might put down, but maybe not us now at our age and our love for it. But yeah, a kid for sure that I could see them. But at the same time, like kids are pretty famous for just like reading things top and bottom until the things fall apart too. So
yes,
I don't know. Maybe if my family would have invested a little bit more in actual comics, I would have had more of a collection. But I digress. The video games, movies, and stuff only lit a fire for like the visual format for me. I've always loved comics, even if I haven't owned them. I've understood like it's an art book and a story at the same time. So essentially, since like my career in music kind of like took off, I got a finer understanding for like art in general and like indie and stuff like that. So I knew that I wanted to do something like voice acting or art or like writing later in my life after music. Because I mean, performing on stage, I mean, let's be real, unless you're like Keith Richards or some of these other guys that are just like unstoppable and like pumped full of whatever and like have like they're probably androids at this point or they have clones or something.
right.
Your back is gonna like fall apart. Your neck is gonna just go as stiff as Batman, you know, like you're
Really?
gonna yeah like especially in metal, like I was doing, like just headbanging all the time. Like think
Oh
about
yeah,
those movements,
that
jumping
can be
around.
healthy.
Yeah, you're an athlete essentially is what it is
Oh,
when you're
okay.
a performing musician. You're actually an athlete. It kind of like when you're an indie author, you're also a digital artist and like a salesman and a marketer, and these days a lot of them are
Yeah,
podcasters, you know what I mean? And then you're a writer, you know. But yeah, I digress though.
Chat, if you have questions for the guest today, just drop it in the chat and we will ask him. Welcome, Cliff Woodbury. Welcome, sir. A Saga of Sunsets. It looks cool to see and sound cool to say. All right.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Cliff. Yeah,
Saga of Sunsets.
I have also got that it also sounds like a romance novel. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. That's fine. Mine is the brutal angle of the of the. It's like a saga of sunsets, right? It's about it's about the end. It's about the beginning. You think of sunrises, warmth.
It's a bit poetic.
Yeah,
title,
a little bit.
Right.
But I could totally see like some old lady somewhere reading a real thick cheesy romance novel with that as the title somewhere.
Yeah.
I could totally see that too.
Right. Yeah.
My comic will be different though, for sure.
So you to get back to your music career a little bit. So
Yeah.
what was were you in a band?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it called?
I was in a couple bands. So the first one that like never really went anywhere. It was just like where I was kind of learning as a kid. I remember, it's funny, you know, thinking back to all the names. The first one was called Falling Awake. That was like my kid band, right? And then my first serious one was We Are the Blog. That's where I learned how to like go play shows, and I started like, you know, that's where we were at the age to like fall down and get back up a lot, right? And then you know, members of that band got family and stuff, and we all kind of started going our own ways. So I started the most recent band, which is Empty My Lungs, and that was just like me and one other dude, and that did pretty good, you know. And you know, from there I kind of there was a point where I just kind of got a little disillusioned and decided to take a break and figure things out a little bit, unplugged from the internet for a few years, you know. I think a lot of people unplugged from the internet.
So what was your disillusion? What did it mean? Where did it come from?
Just like after you put so much time into stuff like it, I'm realizing now it translates very well to authors, comic book creators, movie makers. It's all these same tentacles to the same octopus, for the lack of a better term.
Sure.
It's just like what we're experiencing right now, this decentralization of Hollywood and media and news and information. It's a great decentralization, and I think I got wind of that early on, and kind of realized how two-dimensional all of it was, and how artificial it all is, and how inflated the idea of chasing the dream of the starving artist has become. And it's so inflated that, just a slight poke will pop it, you know what I mean? Bring it all crashing down, right? Like, there's no reason to just form a band, hit the road, and obsess about shows right off the bat, go right to tutoring and starving, and put yourself in danger, and for not that much return, when you could be putting that same amount of passion and energy into the backside of things, like kind of like what we're doing right here, the comfort of our own home, promoting, doing things smart, making connections, instead of, I don't know, it's just, I chalk it up to that young rebellious spirit. You need to go explore the world. You don't know the world, so you go and see. And I just think places like Hollywood have kind of corrupted that to an extreme extent, where you have a whole culture of starving artists, quite literally, who don't really care at all about like their rights and stuff. It's pretty crazy.
Right. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, a lot of demand also. A lot of people want to make it somewhere in some industry, and there isn't that much work. It's you really need to create it. By the way, welcome Bat Sauce. He says beep beep. Welcome, sir.
Hail, Bats.
Mike says controlled even.
Yeah, because that's part of it. You have everything so unstable. Like, you have the entire crowd of people that are opining for the position that you hold on the power structure, extremely unstable, and they're really easy to control. Because think about it, starving artist, dangle a little bit of food, just a little bit of food, a scrap of food in front of that, and they're gonna jump. They will jump. They'll do anything. They'll sign that 8% contract. You know what I mean? They'll they'll do whatever. So and they know that. So and there's other probably weird things rippling out from there, like some deep state stuff going on too. I don't know, maybe even some outside of some foreign enemies type of stuff going on too. I don't know. All I know is that the rock star lifestyle, for lack of a better term, where you just don't give a crap about anything, needs to be confronted, I think.
So is it comparable to the comic book industry, that it's sometimes best to go your own way, to go indie? Like,
yes.
Also comics and novels, maybe.
I realized that entire career in music was me just being an indie, and that's why I so comfortably just picked it right back up when I plugged back into the internet, so to speak, and published wrote my first book, and then published my first short story collection and stuff. And I know where I want this to go. I've always been a person kind of participating in culture, whether that's making my own fun short stories in creative writing class. I remember my creative writing teacher said that I was one of the best students she had in 25 years, and it was all because of this. She had our final was to just write a story. That was our final. I really like that about her, by the way. That was a really interesting free form, like, just write a story, and I'll just judge everybody's final off of that, right?
Sure.
So I chose Beowulf, and I did it from the perspective of Wiglaf, his best friend. So I've always been in this Viking stuff, even in high school.
All right.
And it was like first person. So imagine the epic of Beowulf from the best friend's perspective. So anyway, I've sent from that to reviewing and commentating on culture, to creating music and performing. And actually, I kind of fancied myself a little bit of a, I don't know. I tried to be a good role model, the best I could, but everybody has their shortcomings, you know what I mean? And you get caught up in the life, but I did understand that in music, there's just a natural inclination for your audience's age to just skyrocket downward. especially the more edgy your music gets, because rebellious kids, like I was one of them making the music. So you fill it with like a lot of anger and swear words early on. And it's going to get a lot of people around your age and younger that are into that. Like, oh, that's so cool. He said thing, you know, and I sound like a boomer now. It's so funny. Past me would be like screaming at me right now, but it's only because I understand it. And you can still pull off that same stuff. Like if you look at my music, it gets more and more introspective and less angry. Like as that angst fades away, you can literally tell that as a person, I'm learning to understand myself in the lyrics, you know, like it goes from what was like one of the first songs we wrote. It's just like very, very angry, just like, oh, you betrayed me, you effed me over kind of thing. And then like one of the final songs I made is literally called like apotheosis, and it's about like the definition for those who aren't familiar. The word apotheosis is like the process of a mortal becoming a god. It's the word for that.
All right.
Yeah,
that's word. That's cool.
Yeah. And the song is actually it's like extremely introspective, and it's about taking control of your own life. It's like
that's a great band name, also, by the way.
It is. Yeah, I would. Somebody start an apotheosis gent band and send me a link, because I'll jam it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always been
welcome. Good stuff to the chat, guys. If you need trailers done for your campaign, reach out to Good Stuff. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. Sir. I was just saying, I've just always been trying to participate in culture, and I realized that like there's no difference in all these things. You know what I mean? Even the movie review for the newspaper, it's technically working for the man, right? Which is why I didn't last there. Like I could go into details there. There's some disillusionment with that too. There's a reason I didn't stick around at the newspaper, and it's for all the things we clearly see nowadays. you can probably guess that it's just some bull crap, right? I said $5 an article for starters, and I didn't care about the price. But there's other strings attached too when they're publishing you. But yeah, I digress.
I say, yeah, man. I think that is very, very, very interesting. You still do music, by the way. You still do that?
Yeah, I just released an album under Iron Age Media, their Tempered Records thing. It's called First Strike. I believe it's available on ironage.media or around all the Anvil magazine stuff. You could probably find it somewhere.
Oh, cool! It's connected to Iron Age magazine.
Yeah, and it's like a super group. He got like 5 different of us musicians together, and we collaborated on a song together, and we each wrote our own. So
that is excellent.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Fun. Yeah.
Welcome, Jolly Green. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you, man. Welcome to the show. Let's dive into your campaign. AC. Let's see. Presents. Share the screen. You have your campaign on Fund My Comic.
Yes, sir.
Is there a particular reason you picked Fund My Comic to crowdfund your book?
Well, for starters, my artist is Luke Stone, and second,
that makes sense.
And second, I would say, Fund My Comic is to indies what something like Anvil magazine is trying to be to indies, or maybe like Sursova magazine. These other things that are giving indies a tool, you know. Critical Blast we mentioned, right? He's literally connected to Barnes and Noble and stuff, and knows how to get indies into the mainstream. He's literally an anti-gatekeeper. So these people are like what I call that's a good term actually for it. These are anti-gatekeepers, and Fund My Comic is one of those sources. I personally think it deserves a little bit more momentum. I love seeing all the creators flocking to it, but I really think that this needs to be kind of stressed first. You know, like I'm not opposed to some of those other platforms per se. If some people are like never gonna back unless I do one of those, right? That's just a thing. But I'm gonna do this one first, and I'm gonna have a preference for this one because this is trying to help indie creators. You know, there's even a calculator on there. I think you can see it. There's a calculator on like the homepage of Fund My Comic that it just says type in your budget. And then you type in your budget, and it's like, okay, here's how much you're saving by coming through us. because we're not stealing your money,
Oh.
basically.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hadn't noticed that.
Yeah. Fund My Comic is a good resource, man. It's just new, right? It just needs more momentum. That's the honest opinion of it. So
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to, when possible, I put my campaigns there because, well, we are indie. This is made by people who actually are from the scene, right? So they know the scene and they know what people want. Plus, financially, it's more interesting. Plus, you have fantastic support, right?
Yes.
If you have a problem, they will fix it within 10 minutes.
Yep. And
Um,
he's been really in really close communication with me too. I can literally just message Luke. We're pretty good friends at this point, to be
Right.
honest. Like,
Well, he's
been
your artist.
Yeah.
So how did that collaboration start? By the way, with you writing this and bringing him on for the art.
So I finished the story and published my short story collection, and immediately started thinking comics, because not only is it just one of the mediums, right? Like, think about it. You have written, which is like book. You have audiobook, which is audio, comic, visual, and then you have animated series, which is the next step up in visual. There's an arguable in between step there with like moving PNG images and stuff like that, where it's like kind of animated. But I digress. And the next step up from like animated series would be like live action, right? So these are like all the formats, and I can't help but feel from like my experience in the past how helpful it would have been as a musician to be able to dip our toes into all these different mediums, which is just not possible, right? You can't have, I mean, the written form of music, for example, would have been like lyrics, and I would have to, I mean, in hindsight now, who I am now, I can do a lot of stuff with lyrics. Don't even get me started. You know, publish a lyric book, for example, like publish all your songs and songs lyrics in a book. That's all fancy and stuff. You could do that. But yeah, just the importance of branching into a bunch of different formats, you know. Like I'm aware my eyes are terrible, dude. I know that even though I'm a writer first. I can increase the font size on my computer and it's no problem for me. I can just go all day like that. But personally, I'm going to need like an audiobook or a comic or something. Unless it's really short, you know, and I'll get through it too. If like you're a close friend, I just read slow. So because I'm so hyper aware of that, I immediately was looking for in a good idea for comics and stuff like that. Like my full length novel that's in editing right now, even it started off as just an image in my mind. And I originally was going to do like a half comic, like a half comic thing for that. And that was years ago. That's like 2013 when that idea first came. So I always knew comics. Once I finished my short story collection, I was like, okay, I can just pluck one of these out. These are perfect. Short stories, by the way, perfect for like a graphic novel. Like it's the perfect length.
Yes.
Yeah. And once I had that, I had a bunch of artists on my radar. Luke was one of them. Partial algorithm, partial looking at who some people that I respect followed, and you know, at the end of the day, it got me like a list of a couple dozen artists that I went through, and like I was asking them all their prices and stuff, and Luke was one of them too. I asked him his price, but I think like about a couple weeks later, he actually just randomly appeared on Iron Age Nights with a Drink with Crazy. And I watched his Iron Age Nights episode, which is just essentially this right here, right? He's talking about himself. And I just connected. I was like, I really like this Luke guy. I like his past. I connect to his story. He seems really nice. I really like how he is like used to be a pastor and has all these values, but he's not going to like judge people. Like literally Fund My Comic. You can find some lewd stuff on there and it's created by a pastor. That tells you what kind of a guy Luke is.
Right.
And just the amount of chutzpah it takes to like not only spit in the face of like Hollywood and the man, quote unquote, by creating one of these websites, but even being such a big person that you can kind of hold your own values and allow people to hold their own as well.
Yes,
It
yes.
just speaks volumes about a man. So
Luke is a true asset to the indie scene,
yeah.
and goes to show that oftentimes, because you're making something together, right? So the selection and progress often goes beyond the skills, right? So the talents. So you have someone who has the right style that you're looking for, but then you have to like work with this person for maybe a year, maybe longer. So it has to click. So it has to go beyond the simple or the skill set, right?
Yes.
Um,
And as soon as I heard him talk, man, I was just like sold. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And I can compare that with some of the other people who I just simply inquired on price, and they were actually kind of rude. Some of the others, I'm not. Majority of them were very nice, respectful, and actually very helpful. Considering how stupid my questions were early on, you can imagine a guy that doesn't know shit about anything is just like, oh, how much? I don't even know what the term sequential art means or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just like, how much for like one page of a comic? You know what I mean? I'm saying it that way. And they're like, oh, okay, this guy over here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but yeah, some people just rude, but most people are very very eager to work with others, to get gigs, to get projects.
Yes.
John says, still here, listening while working. That's cool. Thank you.
And
so
and just the utter comparison between those dudes and like somebody like Luke Stone, right? It just I was just like, and he's in danger of being like an exclusive artist. Like that's why I don't have any guest covers. I do have one other artist. Shout outs to Mark Hatherley. He's all traditional. He's more of a sketch artist though. And actually, now that I'm saying it out loud, this is kind of a train of thought thing. I should actually get a guest cover from Mark. I mean, I know he's not like a big name like Mike Barron or Mike S. Miller, but I'm more of like, I'm gonna shout out my bros, right? The tide rises, right? And if you have talent, you have talent. And even though I do understand the value of buying a name, that's actually one valuable lesson I learned from my music career is there is a sad amount of value in buying a name. You can pay a ridiculous amount of money for somebody's name attached to it, and you can run away until the end of your career with that information. Like, I'm this person who got this person that one time, and I mean, it is what it is.
It does happen. It gives your project some how do you say it? What's the word?
Momentum,
some credibility.
Credibility. Yes.
Yeah. So, but every big artist started small ones, So
yep.
We all start somewhere. Let me read a few comments from the chat. Cliff says, I see it as an epic journey that has much darkness, evil, but in between all the hardships and darkness, there are bright days.
Nice.
Sure. It probably refers to something that I can't remember.
Is that what Cliff is talking about? Saga of Sunsets here? Yeah.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah. Welcome to the chat. Flip City Magazine. He says, I was instructed by AC over on Twitter to get in here. Well, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Flip City.
Right. Excellent. Welcome to all the new people. Please subscribe and give this little stream a like. Right. Let's talk a little bit about your book before we forget. Right. So
yes.
The Saga of Sunsets. What is this about? What is the premise here?
So it is for fans of like traditional fantasy. You can bust out your D20s. If you like D&D, essentially. I said I have a past in tabletop a little bit. It's one of my inspirations. Is just dreaming up the scenarios, right? So it's like that. I took a lot of the favored and loved things about traditional fantasy, like orcs, magic, stuff like that. And I took all those because I love them too. And I made my own world out of it. But my world is like, it stands out as being like very grounded in realism, and that even comes down to the magic system. For those who have an eye to see it, the magic is tied to objects, right? So this is an object-based magic system in a kind of traditional fantasy world that has realism grounded in it throughout. So, and as you can tell from the title, as your chat mentioned earlier, it's like also framed poetically and like biblically almost. The descriptions are very clever. It's and I don't mean in like a comedy kind of way or whatever. I mean, like, I'm doing multiple things with everything in the story. Like, if I describe something a certain way, it means like probably several different things, and I purposely lay it out so that I don't even know everything that it might mean. And I don't mean that in an esoteric way. I mean, like, if in this story, like, if something is, if the trees are reaching out and clawing desperately at the protagonist's helmet, right? That's conveying a certain amount of imagery, sure, but it's also conveying about a million other things, because I'm painting a picture for you with that. And like, it's telling you kind of how this character views his reception in this place. It's telling you kind of how he feels actually right now. And it's also kind of telling you how this place might actually feel about him. It's also telling you he might be in danger. There's a lot of things going on there when I describe something that way. And even when I like have somebody's appearance a certain way, like this is the king here, right? Both of his eyes are glowing. Both of his eyes are glowing, but he actually has one eye. They're both glowing because he's like filled with magical energy right now. He's using his magical crystal, but he has one eye, and that's very much on purpose. Like, one eye missing, that harkens to like Odin, and seeing with clarity, right? That's another symbolic meaning I've seen for one eye, is like having the sense to, like, think about it. When you aim like a bow or a gun or something, you close one eye to see with like certainty. You see with like certainty, you're seeing straight. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that going on in there. But
so it's not a handicap to him.
No, far from it. In fact, in the book, the description says, though one eye had long gone milky white and sightless, it was said his other could see twice as good as any orc. And he had no need for it.
You are referring to a book. So this is an adaptation from a book?
Yes. Right. I adapted it myself from my short story. Made the script.
Sure.
Shout outs to indies. Don't be afraid to do things yourself. Scripts aren't that different. In fact, for as many rules as they are perceived to have, there's far more room and freedom when you're writing a script. You can literally just say things how they are. Like, listen, Luke, focus on some of the color a little bit more here. Like, you know what I mean? You can kind of get real.
Does the color?
He will for this preview here, he has one of his team members, Edgar Tavitas, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
Did a fantastic job, but I believe for the rest of the graphic novel, Luke will be personally doing the color.
Right.
I think he has some ideas. So
Flip City Magazine says Luke made a cool orc. Those colors are fire. Yeah, some of these color effects here in the back, pretty interesting.
The lighting too.
Gorilla Mar says, looking forward to backing this project as soon as I get paid again.
Oh, thanks, Gorilla. You're the man.
Getting paid is the best thing ever.
Yes.
So yeah.
But at its heart, it's just like a story of fatherhood and ambition. It's like this orc Jarl and all of his compatriots, all the compatriots around this old king. Essentially, the king wants to die peacefully in this land that he knows exists over here, because he's the owner of this flying ship. He's had a long, fleshed out life career. He's the first king. He's like, everybody loves him. He's known for conquering the air. He sailed to the new land, just like Vikings in real life. Much inspiration from real history, by the way. Lots of
Jarl Himin Horfist.
Yes. Yes, like frozen fists.
Look at you on this photo, looking all badass.
Thanks, man. My wife took that. That was like right after we first met too. So she's my editor, also, by the way.
Oh, that's convenient. Yeah, yeah.
We're kind of like
does
a
she?
holy trinity over here with me, her, and Luke. So
Sure, but when your wife is your editor, does this mean that she holds back, or quite the contrary?
she does not hold back. No,
All right.
she will, and in fact, sometimes we will come across things where I'm unsure about, which is why it's even a thing in the writing to begin with. But I'm pretty sure I'm right. But I'm unsure at the same time, right? And then she's like, "No, I don't. This feels weird," and she'll insist and look into it, and then we'll both learn something in the moment. And she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's technically right." You know what I mean? So, and a lot of those times she's very close. Like she's
Right.
like, it's like we're both right kind of thing. Like it's just a technicality.
What's the plan for this book? Is this one story? Is it done,
Yes.
or is it a?
It's
one book.
One
Okay.
complete graphic novel. Yep.
Right.
And it could potentially get into the 100 page range, because this 72 page count right here is the that's the bare minimum. I've
Wow. Yeah.
looking at the script and the direction of it, that's the bare minimum I would need to finish it up, but that's not accounting for splash pages. So once you get splash pages and other stuff like that in there, this could break 100 pages. It's
Yeah.
over 10,000 words in the source material, and I'm not in a hurry. That's the other thing. I'm not in a hurry. I'm not going to like try to gloss over things just to, I don't know, reach a certain page number. That's another reason why I wanted to do it in one book, because I found in the initial script I did, which was for a 24 page issue, right? The standard 24 page issue. I found that I started having those types of thoughts where it's like, well, if I just kind of do this, I can get to that next page. Or if I hold back here, I can kind of like prevent going to the next page or something like that. And I feel like that started holding me back. And so I started thinking about the whole book, because I was like, listen, it's going to be 3 issues or it's going to be 1 book. And 3 issues in 1 book is not that much of a difference. I might as well just go for the big tamale, right? Because I can always just keep, like, this is keep it all mode on Fund My Comic, because I plan on making this regardless. This is part of my small business as an indie creator. This is my foyer into visual format. I have the audiobook for my entire short story collection done. I'm going to personally edit that. And the companion audiobook for this particular story in that collection actually comes with this for a lot of the backers. Initially, if they have to wait longer, than like everybody's going to get it, basically. You know, there's a lot of things. And like I said earlier, I'm just trying to cast out into a bunch of different ponds here, because I feel like I understand that's what a lot of people need to think about, is like, yeah, you can go hard on just writing book after book after book, but after a certain extent, it does a disservice to you, because it almost becomes, how do I put it? It's like you're fishing in the same stream, and like, yeah, even though there's more fish, you could just do you could like multitask, right? And have like, think of anime. Anime is dominating. The East is completely drinking the West's milkshake as far as comics go, and that's not. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. That completely sucks. But why? It's because they understand this multiple format thing. The term an anime intro, like that intro I sent you that I just revealed on the show today. That's basically an anime intro, right? If there was like some DBZ style animations on screen with all the characters and stuff flying around doing stuff, that would have been an anime song. So that term is actually a thing. They go into the music, they make a Attack on Titan opening theme song, right? And they get people involved on it culturally, and then they make it visually, like in an animated version, and they have the manga, and all of these things sell each other, right? These all sell each other. The song, they're like, what's the song for? It's for this anime intro. They go check out the anime. They're like, that's cool, I want the manga. They go buy the manga. You know what I mean? And it's because of multiple formats. Like, I don't know, what if they check out the audiobook and see that there's a comic? It's vice versa too. I don't know. I understand
Right.
the importance of that. I think.
This also on audiobook.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to do everything, and the end goal is
Wow.
like animation.
Okay.
But that's obviously
Okay.
extremely
Right.
the animation thing is going to be a whole other hurdle that I'm just going to kind of get these out of the way first, like, and figure out how to do everything else really good first, and then hopefully I can take all of that and put it towards animation. That would be really cool.
All right. All right. You're working towards something else, basically. So
building the castle one brick at a time.
Yeah. Betsaw says, I back this. Love fantasy stories. Great to have a comic that's also heavy fantasy story.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know how many comics are actually just like straight up fantasy. Is that I know there's like a lot, but at the same time, I don't see them very often.
Yeah, there are some. Sure, I know Renee. She has like Fiendish, right?
Oh yeah, and
I'm working on something myself, but it just time and resources, man. That's always the problem. Welcome, Darius Artist. They fly now.
They do.
Okay, so I have to ask you something.
Yes, sir.
AC. This goal, that's a very steep goal.
Yes.
Do you have a strategy to get there?
Yes, so this goal is the complete transparent start to finish. The remainder of the pages, it's accounting for print and it's accounting for shipping. This is the total goal that, like, if I got this, I could fill every single reward. I could add even more. I could get a guest cover, and
Sure,
cut and dry, right? But if you scroll down, there's actually a section because I'm unable to change the reward. When I was first making this, I was just like, yeah, there's the total amount, and I threw it up. But
Lucas, your partner. You can change anything you want.
yeah, I was going to talk to him about it, but I kind of am liking the transparency thing. But this is a common thing I do see on every show that I come on. They mention the reward goal. But I do have a section here, almost there here. It's the milestone rewards here. So yeah, this is kind of explaining it. Essentially, the book is for sure finished with a possible guest cover at 7K. So it's actually 7K, not 13K. And as soon as I hit 50 backers, that's when that poster gets made and all that. All the covers, which I'm very close to getting the second cover. I'm about $100 away from getting to the second cover. You see the inks for the first one. That's in the thumbnail. Obviously, it's the background and stuff too. That's cover C. And yeah, it just keeps going from there. I kind of just peppered in when a lot of these things would come online and an explanation more of how it's going to be working, because I'm still new to this and I didn't fully understand when I was going into it. I just was trying to be as transparent as possible, like toss the number up there, like. And to be fair, that 13K also is rounding up at every step of the way. So everything I checked, I rounded up to a more even number, and I also did ballpark estimates at doing 100, printing 100 of each book, when in reality it might even be less than that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So my printing costs might even just be rounded up a little bit too much, to be fair, too. So
right. Well, it's gonna be honest, man. It's gonna be a challenge, but you have a cool concept. You have a good team. You have a good platform with a lot of with its own network. So technically, this can be done.
I'm gonna try.
Yeah, great. Darius Artist says Red Queens and Battle Chasers are fun US-based fantasy comic series.
Ooh, I'll look into that.
They are. You never heard of Battle Chasers?
I haven't.
What?
I very we're in a time where like the algorithm very much just decides what we see. So it's like I only have access to like who's on my list on Twitter. I try to follow everybody back every now and then. I still jump in the For You, but yeah, I very much still got to acquire. I got to know who's who. I just met you, for example. I just met Critical Blast. Trying to make my rounds here, and we'll get there.
Wow, excellent. You have 12 backers. Let's refresh. Maybe you have a new backer, maybe not. If not, that's cool. We can share it out, guys. So if you're watching, guys, let's share out this campaign, get more eyes on it, talk about it. A Saga of Sunsets. It's a cool looking campaign. And to be fair, we can use a little bit of fancy within our indie scene, right?
Yeah,
it's really cool.
Yeah, and we're a pro family team. Me and Luke. I think we both have children. And the story's about fatherhood. And
right.
I market it as all ages because I would like somebody to buy it. But before just handing it to your kid, probably just look through it. It's probably more PG-13. So yeah. But there's no sexuality or nudity or whatever.
No, sure, but it has some like war themes going on, maybe,
blood,
right? So
blood and guts, yeah.
Welcome, Darksiders Comics. Welcome, sir. Guys, subscribe to Darksiders Comics channel for daily comic book reviews. And there's artist asks important question: does it have dwarfs?
There are dwarves in my world. I was just typing this out. There are dwarves in my world, which I am very proud of my dwarves, but they're mainly in my full-length novel. Okay. In this book, this is my orc story. Okay. So in my short story collection, I did my lizard folk, lizard people story, Dragonborn for D&D fans, basically.
Right.
And then I did my human story because you need humans. And then I did my orc story because that's like the trifecta I started with.
You have a bigger novel also.
Yes.
And these shorter stories, so this all takes place within the same
world. Yeah.
Same world.
Yeah.
Does this mean that maybe after this comic we will see other comics?
Yeah.
From this
universe? Yeah. Mark, my other artist, actually, he has over half of I said a standard issue is about 24 pages earlier. He has about over half of the script I sent him for about that size sketched out for the human story. And the human story
on multiple comics.
Yeah. Mark, though, I sold him on no time limits. Just do your thing, brother. He's an old vet. He's a military vet, and he took the human story, which is cool because that's like more World War I Napoleonic, which is cool. The vet took the human. Yeah, it's a whole thing. But yeah, you'll see more. I want to do I don't want to just do one and done on any of these things. Like I have a novel ready to go, not just the short story. I have this comic and the backup comic. I want to have one in the chamber also, so to speak, in all these fronts. So you'll see more.
All right. Excellent. Excellent. That's really cool. Right. Okay. Thank you so much for showing us your campaign. Let's hope it will be a wonderful success. Stop the screen. Right. Guys, before we close this stream, we're around the hour mark. I want to share one more thing with you guys because you can all sign up to the pre-launch page of Perfect 10 Book 5 and Power Trip Book 2. So we're working on this right now. The art is spectacular. Look at this, man. This is fantastic. If you like superhero stuff, classic superhero art, wonderful stories. We have 2 books coming out. So we have Perfect 10 Book 5, plus Power Trip Book 2 and Power Trip Book 2 are 3 shorter stories made by different creative teams. It all takes place in the Jamie Comics universe, but we have so many concepts and we want to use Power Trip as a way to showcase as much as we can, right? So please sign up. 2 new books coming up. Power Trip is almost done. The Perfect 10 we still have plenty to do, but we're making progress there, and we will launch end of this month. So sign up for a little goodie, a little extra, and we have a wonderful early bird special that you don't want to miss.
Heck yeah.
Stop the screen. Yes, and thank you, Mike. Belated congrats for over 600 subscribers. Yes, our humble little YouTube channel got 600 subscribers today. Thank you all so much.
You know what that means, right? Almost 1,000. You're getting there. Almost.
Getting there
almost.
slowly. We're getting there slowly.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Oh wow. Right. AC, thank you so much for being my guest for today and talking about your campaign.
It's my honor.
Good luck with it,
pleasure.
man.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
And special thanks to the chat for everyone who showed up today, who watched us. And if you're watching from the replay, thank you so much, because without you, there's no point. So if you like this conversation, give it a like. If you didn't like the conversation, give it a dislike. And I'm very sorry. I'll be back next week with a new guest. And before we go, I need to ask Jens what he thought of today's show. Jens, what did you think of the show today?
Well, Dave, you do know this is supposed to be your show, but your guest just stole it from you. Good work.
Okay, thanks, Jens. Thanks for the commentary. Guys, thank you all so much for being here. See you next week. Bye.